Chris, at first, how are you?
Pretty good, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I've just finished with my work, and now it's time to talk with some legends about great music.
You're getting some legends in, are you?
Yeah. Big honor talking with such a big drumming legend like yourself, with so many projects, but we have to respect your time, so I cherry picked a bit. So at first, in the middle of July, with your band, the Slade Timeline, you released your debut called Time Space. How are you satisfied with the results?
There you go. There it is. I don't know how it's gone yet. I hope it's gone well. We've had good feedback from many people. So I'm pleased with that. And hopeful for some sales.
Yeah, definitely. It's called music business after all.
So yeah.
if the results are good, then even better. But at first, it really shows that it's a work of, let's say, love, so labor of love. That you were not like second guessing. Oh, maybe that will get the attention. Maybe this will get the attention. I mean, you are Chris Slade after all, so you don't need any, let's say, special representation saying, oh, hello, that's me, or no. something like that. So can you tell us how do you plan to promote the album? I mean, you are still busy with the concert dates, and as I saw on YouTube and everything, so doing lots of interviews and all that.
Yes, a lot of promotion, and it's we started this album like 2-3 years ago, and I suddenly found I could. We've always recorded. Timeline I've always recorded for the last 10 years. But it's always been covers. So there's a lot of covers in the can, as we say. But this was the first time that I had enough faith in myself to write melodies. And it just didn't turn into writing singing melodies and harmonies. It turned into writing bass lines and string lines and guitar arpeggios and brass lines a little bit. And, it's, and it fell together really well. I can't play a chordal instrument myself. So I went to the keyboard player of Timeline, Mike Clark, and asked him to put some chords behind my melodies, which he did. I think tremendous. I know what a minor chord is and a major chord is and all that sort of thing. I know how you put a song together, chorus, verse. I've written lyrics since the 1970s. But this is the first time I wrote melodies as well, and I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Mm-hmm. And so on this record, there's like a DNA of, let's say, almost every period of your career, so different eras. There's also lots of, let's say, acdc DNA. Were you maybe trying to get some of acdc members to cooperate on your album, or is that mission impossible?
No, that would be impossible. Totally impossible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because now since it's just Angus and all that, they were like very private and not doing many guest appearances and all that. I mean, like almost second to zero. Can you tell us why is that? I mean, Is that intention that they just let's say stick to their work, or?
Yeah, that's their intention. They're very private people. They keep themselves to themselves. They don't want to talk to many people unless they're bringing out an album, and then they talk.
Yeah, and every time there's a year before the actual release, there's lots of rumors. Oh, somebody saw Brian somewhere, somebody saw Angus somewhere, and he supposedly told him or her something, and it's like this very, very, very secret and very well made promotion. Yeah,
there's always rumors with acdc about all sorts of things, but people just want some news, and they don't give it out easily. They don't give news, or when I joined for the second time, it was highly secret. When I joined for the first time, I knew I was in the band. They told me I was in the band, but I couldn't tell anybody except my wife for 3 months.
Oh.
And I have friends who are drummers and who are fans of acdc, and I couldn't tell them. It's, and that was around Christmas time as well, I remember. So it was, that was very, very difficult. And the second time I joined, people were driving past the rehearsal place, and they'd say, oh, that looked at the silhouette of Slade then. I think it might be Chris Slade is the drummer.
Yeah, I remember the rumors, and we're like, because acdc is my gateway band to rock and all that, and it's always, I love the music, but everything that comes with it makes everything even better. The whole, everybody has its own opinion, speculations, so these things, and it was really interesting. But if we return back to your album, so this album is, let's say, divided into two parts. There is, let's say, originals, and there are covers.
Yes.
Can you tell us on that covers album, covers part, you selected a couple of songs that are related to your, let's say, stint with acdc, your first era with acdc, and you also covered, you also did your take on other classics. Can you tell us maybe with what criteria did you pick the songs?
They were finished. They were actually mixed and ready to go. There's others in the can, but they were the ones that were finished within the time that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And we played them all live, but through a desk, through a recording desk. So it was, so at least we could have just mix them a bit better than on a mobile phone, because the sound on phones is just terrible sometimes. When people put things up, they're either too close to the stage or too far away from the stage.
Yeah, it's the best is soundboard and direct channels and all that, and it the way they did it back in the day still works. You can use your phone for demo takes and all that to record the ideas that you don't forget them, but at the end of the day, it's still old school is usually one way or another more efficient. But can you maybe tell us, I love the songs, but I would also love to hear your take on the fire organs from the Razor's Edge. Is maybe that also in the can for some potential follow-up, or?
It's not yet, but I'm sure it will be, actually, because a lot of people have mentioned that. It's a good song. I enjoyed playing it. So our AC/DC typeset, we have two singers in Timeline. And Bun Davis, our AC/DC type, is always mentioned in Fire Your Guns.
Yeah, it's very underrated classic. I mean, the album had the obvious hits like Thunderstruck or Money Talks, but this one, I mean, it went very under the radar. I mean, if you talk with other fans who are, let's say, more than casual, they know the song, but you don't hear it very often on the radio. Let's put it that way.
There's another one too, which is "Rock Your Heart Out." I would love to do.
Yeah, or
I would love to do that.
Or If You Dare is also like a bit of slow fast, and or Shout of Love. Yeah, so lots of killer songs to pick.
A lot of killer songs. They're great writers.
Yeah, definitely.
Great writers. They know how to write a song. They know how to arrange a song.
Yeah,
they're very, very good. Almost genius, I would say, songwriters.
Yeah, especially doing it for 50 years.
They're like pop songs, but played heavy.
Yeah, definitely. It shows it's like, and also when people say, oh, they're easy to play, and then you talk to some guys, oh, not that easy, apparently.
No, it's not that easy. And that's another stroke of genius. They make it sound so easy and simple. Like anybody can play it, but they can't. Yeah,
I mean, you have, let's say, bands that were inspired by AC/DC, but there's only one AC/DC band, so
I've been with top players, world-class guitarists, for instance, and they've said, "Oh, it's AC/DC. It's only 3-4 chords, I said, "No, it ain't, mate." And at the end of it, they've gone, I've got new respect for AC/DC. I always thought it was just simple stuff, and it's not. And it's not. If you play it properly, some tribute bands just don't play it properly. Some do, some don't. And they just, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, there's only one Angus Young and Malcolm.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Okay,
and only one Malcolm Young too, although he's not with us anymore.
Sadly missed him.
Yes, along with Bon, of course. Yes.
And if we move a bit back to the past, so your early days of your career are also very connected with Tom Jones. So within that, songs that you mentioned that were on the list, but you didn't pick them for this second part of your album, were there also some Tom Jones songs, maybe?
We do some on stage, but not on this album. But I did a Tom Jones album in the 60s. And a whole album, 13 smash hits, it's called. And John Paul Jones was the bass player.
Oh, nice.
So, it's great players. Jimmy Page was also on some of the tracks. In his days of session playing, which I gave up in the 60s because I didn't like it. You got Page, you did 3 hours and you walked away. I didn't like that at all. So I stopped doing them.
And can you maybe tell us, are you still in touch with Tom Jones, or is that...
Yes. Still in touch with quite a few people. Yeah. I even had some communication the other day with AC/DC. So, I mean, I don't cut myself off. You understand?
Yeah.
I like to keep lines of communication open.
Yeah, definitely. Always better to have friends than Enemies, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And can you maybe tell us any details about the band's future of ACDC?
No.
I thought so, but I had to ask it.
If I did, I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, it will be.
And it's a long way to come to Slovenia, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, if we return back to your album a bit, what are your plans for the future? Retirement seems not to be an option yet, or
No. I'll retire when I'm older. We haven't stopped working. Timeline have not stopped working for 12 years.
Oh, awesome.
I was in Italy. We were in Italy last weekend. Just gone. And we're in south of France this weekend coming. We've been to Poland, Czech Republic, all over Germany, all over France, Spain, Portugal we've even been to. Because we drive. We don't fly. We drive because we can use our own equipment then, which is sometimes is needed. If you try flying in with rental equipment, it don't work most of the time.
Yeah, you're familiar with certain settings, certain instruments, and
yes,
doing everything from the beginning. It's huge waste of time, especially if you are just traveling around Europe. So you can, like you said, you can put everything in the van and be on your way. So can you tell us more about the band's plan for the future? So you shoot an album. You're doing now these interviews and all that, the promotion.
Yes.
Doing also lots of gigging. What else?
Is there any more?
You focus on the current project and all that, but also lots of bands are like slowly pinpointing the future steps. Is there maybe also some work on the potential timeline, timescape part 2, or?
Yes. I'm writing songs all the time these days. And I'll be putting them down very soon, but we got to get over the hump with this album first. I'm doing a lot of press, which I like doing, and but I like live shows better. So, we've been as far in Italy as Udine, which is right next door to Slovenia.
It's in the neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah. So we've been to Udine. It'd be nothing for us to come to Slovenia, It's not much further.
Definitely. if you will come, definitely first day ticket buyer, and also have to bring this one to.
Yeah. Of course.
And of course to meet you in person, because you are. So if you move back to late 80s, early 90s, when you released Razor's Edge, how do you look back on these days?
I liked it. I had a great time. Thanks very much. It was great to record with ACDC. And to see so many people at the shows. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Donington is one of the, awesome.
Yeah. Well, the last time around I was with them was 2015, 2016.
Yeah, that's also a part of the questions, but we'll get to there too. So can you maybe describe us how is average ACDC album made? I mean, I presume that Youngs brought everything to the table and you just did your part, or did you have any saying about the whole thing? Did they?
Well, so take Fire Your Guns, for instance. we worked that up in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
That was all written. I'm sure they'd written some of it, but they didn't. They often demo songs,
Mm-hmm.
but with Fire Your Guns, they didn't demo it. We just worked it up in the studio, and they were happy with what I was doing, so it stayed. Whereas quite often you follow what Angus or Malcolm played on drums. So, and that's your template, if you like. And they don't want too much embellishment on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same.
If I understood you correctly, they brought you, let's say, a demo of the song, and then you put your spin on it with drum wise and all that. And
yes, and it's the same whether it's Phil Rudd playing or myself or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same. So for us drummers.
And do you maybe remember, were there any songs, let's say, left unused, any outtakes, or did you use the whole
I can't remember. Honestly, I can't. You'd have to ask Angus that. I can't remember if there's anything left over.
Mm-hmm.
So, my answer to that is I don't know.
Yeah, it's been almost 40 years, and yeah, totally understandable with that many projects, and life goes on. Yeah, also Razor's Edge is also the first album on which Brian Johnson did not put down any lyrics. Do you remember any stories about it? Why was that? Do you recall any interesting facts about that?
Brian was very sad about that. I saw him when he just got the news, and he was very down about it because, I've been writing with them for years when that happened, but they had already written most of the album and the lyrics too, which was unusual for them. So, he accepted it, and that was it. Because when Angus and Mal decide something, it sticks.
Yeah, but do you maybe know? I mean, I understand that it was one chapter why he did not collaborate on it, but do you recall maybe why that thing kept going on? I mean, in last 30 years, band released like 6 or 5 albums, and Brian still did not put any words down. Do you maybe have any ideas why?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Angus. But I don't know, and that's not part of my job.
Yeah, you just get
my
your
job is
done.
To play drums. My job is playing drums, and that's it. I'm not involved in any business discussions or anything like that. So I have no idea what the motivation for them on that is.
Okay. And during the Rocker Bust era, you returned. How it was like playing with Axel? I mean, I read a couple of sentences from one of the interviews that got viral. It seemed like Axel did 180 on whole his like he was not the Axel from the past, but he was on time. He was not doing any rants.
He was always on time. For anything, for rehearsals, for shows, for anything. It's just yes, I see what you mean. That he's sort of infamous for being a little bit late sometimes.
Yeah,
he was never late.
A bad reputation.
Yeah, never late. Always telling stories and telling jokes. And he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I saw you back in 2016 when you were performing in Vienna. So coincidentally now with the whole Taylor Swift thing on the same stadium. And yeah, you and Axel really also brought new energy to the band. I mean, I saw the band for the first time back in 2009 in Belgrade with Phil Rudd and with the classic Back in Black lineup. But also now, I mean, especially because I was born in '94, so you were out of the band by then,
Right.
and it was interesting to see, because Stevie also did his part in the '80s with the band, so it was like history in the making, not just because with the Axel, but also because like big part of the past came back and all that. So it was a really interesting experience, especially also with the set list. I mean, you played If You Wanna Blood and all those classics. Sadly, the concert after, you also played Touch Too Much. That's one of my favorite ACDC songs. But
same here. It's my favorite song.
Yeah, it was the gig after. I remember I was going somewhere and, you know, just having fun on phone, and then the news came. Like, I was like, damn.
Yeah. That's down to Angus, really.
Yeah.
And doing the running order, you know. It's nothing to do with me, and it's nothing to do with the guys. It's to do with Angus. Axel actually asked for a lot of those songs, like If You Want Blood and Touch Too Much.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to Angus, do you know those songs? And Angus said, no, we don't. We know about next week, next rehearsal, you know. And we did. So
fair enough. And
yeah, I do that with Timeline, Touch Too Much. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, it's interesting from that period when lots of bands were like trying to get in the disco, but still, let's say, remain what they were before disco. Like Stones did their Miss You, and Kiss did their I Was Made for Loving You, and also AC/DC put their not like that they were chasing trends, but it shows the influence what was, let's say, in the air back then. And can I also ask you, so during that period with Axl Rose, there was once again lots of rumors circulating around that band was planning to do an album with him. I mean, we got Power Up with Brian and all that, because he at the end of the day, he's the singer that most of the people wants to hear. But do you maybe did you any demo tracks with Axl studio wise, or was that?
No, there's always rumors, always. And the thing is, you mustn't believe them.
Yeah, but it's a part of the magic. Yeah.
People make up things all the time. That's people. That's not AC/DC. That's people. And you can't help people doing it. You know, it's nothing to do with the band. Simple as that. It's like, it's not true.
All of a sudden, everybody's a sound guy in the band or a janitor, and they heard this and they heard that, and yeah.
Yeah, of course. You know, yeah, the crew are there all the time, and they hear things, and they might get the wrong message from what they hear, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Most of them don't do anything about it, but some people perhaps go and say this, you know, yeah, whatever it is. But none of those rumors are true, you know?
Yeah.
I could start one right now and say, I think Phil Rudd's going to be back in the band. You know, there's a rumor started.
Yeah.
You watch it spread.
Yeah. And so since our interview is slowly coming to end, because we have to respect your time and all that, I don't want to bother you for too long.
Okay, thank you. That's good. I enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, looking forward to the second opportunity when that will occur. For the end, can you maybe tell us any, let's say, with a musician like you with that big of the career, what are your, let's say, goals that you still wish to achieve in the following years? I mean, I know you have the band, you released your album now, so there's lots of going on. But what are the, let's say, things that you still wish to accomplish?
Well, I want to stay alive.
Okay, like everybody.
Yeah. But if I do, I'll do another album, and you know, I'll keep touring because I love it. I love being on the road, love playing in front of people, love meeting people, and I want to just do more of that as much as I can. So that's my aim and that's my goal.
And did you also have any ideas for a possible autobiography?
Yes, that's in the that's been taken care of. I am working on it right now.
Yeah, with more than 60 years of different stories, definitely worth of a read, or maybe even a movie.
It may be 3 volumes.
Yeah, like a guy behind the drums sounds like maybe noir or good autobiography with all the things that came along. Yeah.
And I want to write it myself, you know, with my own words on my own language. You know, the way I say things.
Yeah, that the things are not lost in the translation and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a ghostwriter, you know. I know that's difficult in foreign languages, but I want to write it in English in my words.
Yeah, but nowadays, since English is like international, I mean, second language. I mean,
yes.
my first language, of course, is Slovene, but
yeah,
everything is now in English. Films, computers, phones.
No,
so
I think that's excellent. Not that it's English, but that there is becoming a common language.
Yeah, like
that we can all talk to each other.
Yeah, like Latin in science and all that, but for a common man, it's
if you don't talk, you know, people can get the wrong impression of what you mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Even through really good translators, it can go wrong. So if everybody speaks a common language, it stops any misunderstandings. It can also stop wars.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm all for that. I'm all for common anything, actually.
And do you have maybe any, like I said, big honor and definitely looking to seeing you live somewhere, maybe even if Slovenia, if we'll get lucky. Do you have
I would love to. We would love to come to Slovenia.
Yeah, there's
it's not a long way from Italy. It's right next door.
Yeah.
And
some of the promoters will hear that and brought you here. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we work in Italy, you know, quite a bit, especially in northern Italy. And it's only drive across Italy or come down through Austria.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, not the longest distance.
No,
for us to see you, Chris. Big honor, and hope to see you around and keep on rocking.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Big honor.